Hello there. In this episode, we will talk about the Western influence on the anime industry, or how maybe even Hollywood movies get inspired by anime industry nowadays, in some cases. Do you have any
Yes.
examples for Hollywood movies that got inspired by anime?
Matrix 3. There's a fight scene between Neo and Agent Smith in the end. And it's an exact copy from a Dragon Ball scene. You can Google it on YouTube, it's a side-by-side comparison. It's nearly the same.
Okay, that's crazy. Yes, I thought about JoJo references that become nowadays more popular. We have some um, JoJo references in a lot of newer movies, or at least some, you could say. Um,
Do you have any examples?
Actually, I have seen some pictures from a movie that had some JoJo poses and stuff, but I don't know the title, so I can't
Yep.
name. I will cut it in the when I cut
Yes.
it the
For
part.
the viewers, you can put it in.
Yes. Yes. Or even do you know Uma Musume?
The horse racing game.
Yes.
Yes.
Gold Chip pulled the Michael Jackson pose. That's funny. So you can clearly see some Western colonization in the anime industry nowadays.
That is a word that I wouldn't use. He's, there you see he's not a student. It's a
Yes,
dangerous word.
not colonization. The
Inspiration.
yes. Yes, but another big point, which has to do with movies and superheroes, you can definitely see in My Hero Academia, which inspired by Marvel or DC heroes.
Can also use One Piece. Luffy's stretching power.
Yeah, true.
It, from Mr. Fantastic.
Yes.
Plus, if you want to go that far, Luffy's brother is Ace, the how is it called in English? The burning guy from Fantastic Four.
Um,
I
I
know the
know,
German one,
I
but not
know
the
who you
English one.
mean. Yeah.
And then we have from Fantastic Four Ben Grimm, who's Pika, the
True.
stone guy.
Yeah, true.
Now, who in One Piece has force fields and has telekinesis power?
Telekinesis.
Who can lift things with his mind? Law, kinda, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, true.
So we have a Fantastic Four in One Piece.
True. But One Piece
Plus,
is
wait,
yeah,
wait.
you
All
can
of
you
them are in Dressrosa, if we count Sabo as a fire user. Coincidence? Who knows? Now we can go on.
yes, in One Piece especially you can see some Western influence because Oda Sensei is a great fan of movies. So he puts a lot of movie references in One Piece.
In general, the style with piracy is the Western piracy. Plus, a lot of his names are inspired by famous pirates.
Yes.
Blackbeard is the obvious one, for example.
Hmm.
Kid as well.
Big Mom.
Zorro. The
Yes.
list goes on.
Hmm.
Definitely a Western influence.
Yes, Oda is a big fan of Western movies, so he implements them in some kind of way in One Piece. Yes, but do you know how this whole thing started? That anime got to the Western?
It was a long, long time ago.
Yes. it had something to do with World War II.
Yes.
Yes, after World War II, Japan had some culture exchange with the West, and so they brought the anime and manga to the West.
Famous old school classic is Astro Boy, one
Hmm.
of the first.
Yes.
Cultural exchange is also a good word because we know a culture that is often referenced in anime or even a language.
Oh yeah.
Do you know what it is?
Yeah, of course. Us Germans are often presented, represented.
Represented.
Yes, represented. You have Attack on Titan, which plays in Germany, or Spy
In
Fam.
Nuremberg.
Yes, Spy Fam is in East and West Berlin.
Frieren obviously inspired by German language.
Mm,
All of the names are German.
yes.
And in One Piece, Luffy uses some German attacks in Gear 4.
Mm,
Rino Schneider is a good example.
true. I thought it was just the translation of the attack, but it's really the attack's name.
Yes. In general, in anime, a lot of attacks are from some other languages.
Mm,
English is also used very often.
yeah.
In Fairy Tail, for example, Grace says, Ice make lance, Ice make shield, Ice make cannon, Ice make hammer, and so on.
Mm. But we also have some French with Robin and some other characters.
I mean, all of the Straw Hats have a real life country where they are from.
Mm,
I think, for example, was Luffy or Zoro from Brazil? One of
Luffy.
them was from there. Luffy
Zoro
is.
is obviously a Japanese people. Yes, but we have a lot of German in anime. That's because the Germans and the Japanese people helped each other out a lot. You
Yes,
watched a video about it, right? The same as
yes,
us, as me.
yes. Obviously, the Germans and Japanese helped each other out. Beside one big thing that happened in history,
Hmm.
just want to clarify.
Yes. So we have a lot of historical aspects that play a big role in the Westernization. Um, yes, we have some Western mythology.
Mythology.
Yes, for example, Helsing or the Metal Alchemist.
In general, the faith from Greek, we can take Egypt, we can take Norse myths.
Hmm.
There are also some adaptations from European myths in the anime and manga world. A good
Yes.
example is one of my favorite mangas, DRCL, an adaptation from Dracula by Bram Stoker, an Irish, I think he was Irish, something like that, at least from a Western author.
Hmm.
And Shinji Sakamoto is making his own adaptation from it.
Yes, and we currently have an author which is not Japanese and produces a currently airing anime. Do you know which one?
Nope,
Gachakuta,
not the anime. You
the
mean the
author.
mangaka?
Yes,
Yes, but she basically lives in Japan because she was the assistant from Okubo, was a Fire Force mangaka.
yes, but she's still from the Western.
Yes. I mean, there are general Western authors who have published some things in Japan.
Hmm.
Radiant from France is a good example. I think the guy's name was Tony Valente.
So, but
It,
back.
it also has an anime.
Mm. But back to historical, because it's a recent thing that happened. We have some development in the Cold War in Chainsaw Man.
Spoilers for the current Chainsaw Man chapter.
Yes. As we all
So
know,
skip a few minutes ahead if you don't want to get spoiled.
yes. Um, so we all know that Chainsaw Man plays in kinda the Cold War time, and America introduced the nuclear weapon, the atomic weapon.
Again,
Yes, again, because we all thought Denji would have eaten it, but no. USA has a new nuclear weapon.
yes, the funny thing is, the Chainsaw Man Devil ate it, it disappeared from everybody's minds, but the US wanted to have a powerful weapon and done it again, which
Yes.
kinda characterize and criticize the US in a way.
But the funny thing is, some days after we introduced the episode, the chapter got released with the nuclear weapon.
I mean, our homie Fujimoto is a fan from a podcast, he's a listener, he wanted to help us out.
Yes,
So
yes.
that we have a good headline.
Hmm.
Easy clap.
Yes. And also loves America.
America. She even sings the national anthem.
Yes, that's crazy.
The most American moment, probably in anime and manga.
Hmm. I was actually reading the song as was singing in my mind, basically.
You had the melody in your head.
Yes, that's a cool thing, actually.
Hmm. I would really like to know how Fujimoto thinks about the US because he has at least, I would argue, three moments where we can say that he criticizes America or paints them in a bad and war hungry way.
Hmm.
First, we have in part one, where America drops the gun devil on Japan, which is basically a nuke, or at
Yes.
least an equivalent to that. Then we had in part two, where Asa used the Statue of Liberty with her powers, where the gun devil made a pact with all of the Americans,
Hmm.
with the Gun Association, which is a critique towards the wide usage of guns in the US. And now, in the current chapter, where the nuke has dropped.
Hmm.
So we could make the thesis that Fujimoto is kinda critical on the US,
Yes.
potentially. Or he just uses it in his story.
I don't know. Who knows?
I mean, it fits our time because the US is with Trump. Well, let's don't talk politics, but
Yes,
you.
yes.
But in general, Fujimoto also used a lot of movie references in his movies.
Hmm.
Good example is, for example, Reese's design, who is inspired by the alien.
Oh, you mean the bomb head?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
In general, the alien design is in some shows or some animes. You know another one where we see it, right?
Um, give me a hint.
It's in your top 10.
Dun.
Correct.
Yeah,
There's a xenomorph as well,
true.
who looks like the alien. Another Western inspiration.
Hmm. Yes.
In general, Bandana is a good example. We got UFO stuff, the aliens, because aliens are a Western thing.
Hmm. I mean, aliens are not especially a Western thing. You, but I know what you want to say.
Area 51,
Yes, but they live
UFOs.
in the space, so basically.
Yes, but the concept originated in the West.
Yes, you have a
The
lot of
myth.
guys claiming to have seen UFOs or stuff.
Yes.
Um, yes. Do you want to talk about more Dandadan, or can I?
And we can in general talk about sci-fi. Because a lot of sci-fi stuff is, I would say as well, kind of originated from the West.
Yeah, I think so.
Stuff in space, for example, is probably influenced by Star Wars or something
Yeah,
similar.
Zaydak.
Potentially, yes.
mm. Cowboy Bebop, actually.
Gundam has a lot of stuff in space.
Mm. Yes. But what I want to talk about is Shonen Jumps pushes more and more um, towards global appeal nowadays with Kaiju or My Hero.
I think Sakamoto, this is also a good one with
Mm.
the assassin thing.
Yeah.
Probably the author at least knows about John Wick, for example. Those shows are kind of similar with their assassin world in the background.
Mm. Yes, but Kaiju especially, which is from Crunchyroll, or Crunchyroll produces it, I think. Is it? Are they?
Funding it,
Yeah, they've.
that's the word. Or
But
at least partially funded it. They make a lot of advertisement.
yes. But with Crunchyroll rising, we get some funding from Crunchyroll. We get some influence in storyline, storytelling. So
Or you mean
Crunchyroll,
that has no influence? Crunchyroll doesn't influence the manga, the original. They just advertise it.
but they have some Crunchy originals, which they,
Yes.
yeah, they have some influence nowadays in the anime industry because they earn a lot of money. Have they put some animes into production, so they have some influence on them.
Yes, we can go with that.
Yeah,
Also funny how you wanted to use kaiju as example, which is the most Japanese show because kaijus.
yes, but it's big on Crunchyroll, and yeah,
Yes, I know why you wanted to use it because of the big advertisement.
yes, um, yes, but
We're going
Crunchyroll,
to the next point. Oh, sorry, I thought you were finished.
yes, but with Crunchyroll growing and growing each day, we can get some Western influence on the anime industry over the time.
Anime is also nowadays really, really big on Netflix.
Mm. Yes,
So maybe we will get some Netflix original anime at some point. Or there are some, but we don't know about them because they are trash.
this is also the case. Yes. Yes. What do you want to talk about?
So let's now talk about fantasy anime and isekais. Most of them are inspired by the West. Do you know why?
Um, I don't know.
Where do you think the races in those shows originate? The elves, dwarves,
Oh, the
dragon people,
Nordic mythology.
Nordic, Celtic, wherever they come from.
Yeah.
Also, most of them are inspired by Tolkien because Lord of the Rings
Hmm.
is huge for our fantasy. And also, a lot of fantasy shows got inspired by D&D, Dungeons and Dragons, who also laid the groundwork for our fantasy landscape because they wrote a lot of books about all of those races. I mean, a great examples for D&D shows is Delicious in Dungeon. Overlord is also heavily inspired by D&D. I know the author is a D&D player. I read about it in an interview.
Crazy.
A lot of manga artists or authors who make fantasy light novels are probably D&D players.
Yes, true, true. It makes sense actually.
Yes, yes. So, the most fantastical genre that in anime and manga is inspired from the West heavily. At least the ones where we have our medieval fantasies.
Hmm. Or
All
Vinland Saga.
yes, historical would have been the next talking point. Vinland Saga, Innocent, DRCL is also kind of historical.
Yes.
Isaac is a manga which I will talk about in the next recap, also historical in a Western setting. Basically, every manga that adapts a Western setting, a Western historical setting, is obviously inspired by the West.
Hmm. AOT you could also name in there.
Yes, but that's not historical manga. It was inspired by a historical setting.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Talking straight historical. Remember,
I mean,
you talked to the history guy.
isn't Vinland Saga
Thorfinn did
that
exist.
historically? Did he?
Yes, existing person.
Okay.
Plus, the Vikings were the first to find America from the Europeans. Not Columbus, the Vikings were the first. That part is also correct. Plus, the Viking
Ah,
invasion of England also happened. Obviously, Vinland Saga is not historically accurate, but the inspirations are true.
okay. I didn't knew that, to be honest. I mean, that the Vikings attacked England, that's what I knew.
Hmm.
Yeah,
So everybody who says Columbus was the first guy European on America, that guy's a fraud. Doesn't know history.
true.
But we don't learn that in school, sadly. We just know
Hmm.
Columbus.
Yes. Yes. Are you finished with your point?
I have another one which is connected with fantasy and history.
Okay, then go ahead and
It's religion. Whenever we have demons, devils, angels, they are either inspired by D&D again or by the religion that we have. You mentioned Helsing before, good
hmm,
example. So religion
yes.
has Western religion has kind of influenced our fantasy landscape, and because of that, the anime and manga fantasy landscape also got influenced.
Hmm. Yes. Yes. Could I go on to the next point?
Yes, now we can switch.
Yes. It is nowadays that anime are trying to produce some cinematic episodes. We can see this in One Piece or the latest episode of Blue Lock, the last episode, where they put a movie experience in a short amount of section.
I would say the best example for this is Demon Slayer and Chainsaw Man.
Yes. Hollywood cinematic storytelling, where it's not much said or anything, but the choreography is so amazing that you can just watch it in a movie theater,
John
basically.
Wick, Mad Max Fury Road, best examples for that.
Hmm.
I would also mention the Raid, but it's not a Western movie, it's an Asian movie. But the same goes for that.
Yes. Or we have a lot of focus on multicultural stories nowadays. We have Chinese, an anime that plays in China, antique China, historic. We have German-inspired anime with World War II, Tanya, Attack on Titan. So there are a lot of influences from the West.
There's one big influence where we can talk about if you don't have anything else.
No, you can go ahead.
We have stuff that originated in the West. We can use sports or games as an example. I think you know where
Cool.
I want to go.
Yes, with baseball, right?
Baseball, basketball, football, all of the sports anime.
Yes. And especially in Blue Lock, where you have the World Cup now in the newest chapters, Japan wants to get the glory back on the world.
Plus, some Blue Lock players have real life inspirations.
Hmm.
So, and
For,
those are
for example,
Western players, so definitely Western
yes.
influence.
For example, we have Zlatan Ibrahimovic, which is from Sweden, or we have Messi from Argentina, Ronaldo from Portugal, and so on.
Yes. And with games, I mean not video games, but let's use gambling for example. Poker is a good one, or chess. When you have death game animes and they play a Western game, it's
Hmm.
also kind of influenced because they play a game that originated in the West in the death game.
Yes. I mean, chess is kind of originated from China, I think.
Then let's use poker. But you know what I want to say.
Yes, yes.
There are enough Western games that we can use.
Hmm. Yes. Wait, aren't video games? Where are video games from? From where did they start?
I think we're first were from America, but Japan especially helped the video game industry a lot. Pokemon is a
Yes.
famous example in Mario, the
Hmm.
Nintendo stuff and stuff before. So you could count it, but you could also not count it.
Yeah.
That's
Um,
that's why I
yes.
didn't mention it for the isekai and fantasy segment, especially for the
Yeah.
isekai segment.
Yes. But I mean, video games are also some kind of influence on the West, so and some video games have gotten some anime, so they could count also. I mean, Pokemon. A lot of people have started watching Pokemon or have played the games.
Pokemon is still the biggest franchise in the world, as far
Yes,
as I know. So
so we have a lot of Japanese influence in video games too.
yes. No. There's
Hi,
one
Miles.
thing I want to talk about if you don't have anything else.
You can go ahead if you want.
It's adapting the Japanese in the West. So now we make a bait and switch. Live action adaptations. They
Hmm.
always suck. So even though the West has influenced anime and manga a bit, we still like anime and manga because they are unique and give us stuff that we don't have in the West. And that's why most of the live adaptations are utter trash. Like,
Hmm.
for example, recently an Omniscient Reader's Viewpoint live action came out, and it's bad. It has a 3 point something rating on IMDb. That's not good. It's
Yes.
bad. The
Hmm.
Dragon Ball looks horrendous. The Death Note one was horrendous. I
I
think the
mean,
only good ones were Alice in Borderland and One Piece.
hmm,
The ones I know. Rest trash.
yes, true. Cowboy Bebop wasn't also good, I think,
Yes, I hear this
from
one
the
really
ratings.
bad.
Yes. So, what went wrong there is the big question.
There are some aspects which are still unique to anime and manga that can't be adapted into, let's say, a Western closet. So even though
Mm,
there are influences from the West in anime and manga, and the other way around, you still can't adapt certain things into anime and manga. Ah,
yes.
certain things you
Uh,
can't adapt certain
yes.
things from anime and manga into live action.
Yeah,
That's the right order.
that's right. Yeah. But another big thing that's also, especially in edgy anime or even some shonen anime, is censorship. And you know what I want to talk about, right? For
Maybe.
kids. For kids.
Yes, yes. I mean, there's
Yes.
also censorship in movies. There are some, not the nudity censorship, but the more brutal versions. There are series who have in Germany we have 16 and 18 rating. They have versions who are rated at 16, which are a bit more tame, and then the uncut version, which is rated 18 plus.
Hmm.
That also happens in the West.
Yes. But you have a lot of censorship in shonen or edgy anime.
Yes, because they thought shonen anime were for kids back in the day.
Yeah, but it's not right.
But actually,
And
you made a good point. I almost forgot something.
hmm,
I have another show which is heavily inspired by the West, which is a bit edgy. It's Grand Blue Dreaming, the American college party vibe where you drink and party. It's basically Grand Blue Dreaming, and I think that stereotype is originated in the West. American
yes.
Pie is
I
a
mean,
big example.
nowadays in Germany, in Japan, the drink culture is also quite big.
Yes, but I think especially in the beginning of the 2000s, there were a lot of those movies coming out in Hollywood.
Hmm.
So there is
Yes.
probably some inspiration.
Hmm.
You can go on and finish
Yeah.
something else.
Um. Yes, but back to 4 Kids, which completely ruined One Piece, basically,
Naruto as well.
because yeah,
Yu-Gi-Oh!
because
Even
there
worse.
was hmm, there were some really unuseful sensors. For example, Sanji smoking a cigarette, which then turned out to be a lollipop.
Where Zabuza and Naruto was standing in the air because he was standing on a sword and they removed the sword.
Hmm.
In Yu-Gi-Oh! Where Pegasus guards were pointing guns at Kaiba, and in the anime they were pointing his finger at Kaiba.
Yeah,
Classic.
yeah. So the Western influence doesn't always have to be good on anime and manga.
Yes.
It can ruin animes, sometimes even.
Yes, but you have to think about that was the Western version it was broadcasted. In the original, it's obviously not
Hmm.
censored.
Yes, but I think if I had watched this as a kid, I would question, bro, what the fuck? Why would he have a lollipop in his mouth?
You don't get it as a kid because you're dumb.
Yeah, okay, that's true.
I didn't notice in the beginning as well. So, then, shall we conclude the episode or do you have something else?
Um, Wait, I'm checking my points.
because I think I'm mostly done with everything. I had the historical and the fantasy stuff; those were the biggest one for me, and the sports one.
Uh, I have one small last thing,
Go on.
which is the accusations that the Westernization is polluting the anime industry. Because I've searched up for some points that we could talk about in this episode, and some were complaining that the Westernization is polluting the anime market, and some are too much for the Western audience, and that's one thing that people don't like.
I mean, I would
We-
argue that this person is an anime only watcher who hasn't watched a single historical anime or read historical manga. So
Yes,
I don't know
but I
why.
think in some cases it's actually true, because some animes look too much made for the Western, Western world. And it's rising in the current age because social media. Some mangakas use social media and they see something trending about their manga, and yeah,
It's obviously, but on the other hand, you can also make the counter argument that they find out something good or research something interesting and use it in their manga. So it's a give or take. It's
yeah,
always the execution that matters.
hmm,
If you're making lazy cash grab, no matter if it's made for the West or made for the East, it's a lazy cash grab, no matter
yes,
where the inspiration is coming from. And if you make something godly from something that is inspired you from the West, then you made something godly.
hmm, yeah. It's the double cutting sword.
Double-edged sword, yes.
Yeah, double-edged sword. Yes, social media is also one big point that has some influence to conclude this.
Yes.
But we talked about the social media influence and stuff in another episode, so we don't have to talk about it anymore.
I think we talked about it in multiple episodes.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that concludes this episode.
Yes. I would say as a conclusion, the Westernization, Western influence, you can see it. You can see it in places where you don't think about it, and because of that,
Hmm.
some of my favorite shows are made. But on the other hand, if you make a lazy cash grab always for West, as I said before, it's a lazy cash grab.
Yes.
And
Um.
influencing yourself from someone else is not a bad thing if you use it wisely and don't overuse it.
Yes. Yeah, that's a good conclusion to this video.
Do you want to
But
know
I
what
want
we make next? Oh, sorry.
I wanted to ask the same thing. What will we do next episode? Or next week?
We will make
Phyllis?
a hybrid between a quiz and an analytical segment. We pick out shows and give the shows five things, and then we give those things a number score. Then the other one can either guess or you can analyze a show. For example, I present you my show has 10 out of 10 animation. The story is a 3 out of 10. The character moments, they are kind of okay. They are a 7 out of 10. The hypocrisy, that's also an 8 out of 10, and so on. And then you can guess what the show is, or I can present it you a good show in a new light and analyze it. Depends on what you pick out.
Okay. That
We will
sounds
base
very interesting.
we will basically make a pentagram and not pentagram, pentagon, not pentagram, a pentagon and make stats. We make some kind of a
Ah,
graph. I don't know how the correct term is. I need to research that.
okay. And then you have to guess which anime is talk about, right?
Yes, we can try to guess.
Ah,
Or if
okay.
the other one doesn't get it, we can glaze or hate. Depends on what the
Hmm.
movie is. And I would say we take like 7 or 8 each, so that we have a bit.
Yeah. Okay. Then we thank you for tuning in into this episode, and we hope to see you in the next episode.
Where we are going to give anime some stats.
Yes, the next week will be a filler week because Nikolai is on holiday,
Yes.
and I have to work more because of him, because he's not there.
Not because of me, because of the other person who is way more work hours than me.
Hmm. Yes. So we will see us in the next episode.
Yes. And he's also already made an excuse why he's making less content next week. He thinks he's smart, but I busted him. He still needs
Fuck.
to make content next week.
Fuck.
Bye.
Bye.